You would know that Angel Reese has just been suspended for the entire season and fined over $1.2 million for what she just did, as she was caught saying the Z word on live.
Caitlin Clark, she will be missing Friday's game due to her continued groin injury, and Angel Reese has been suspended for Friday's game after getting assessed a technical foul Wednesday night for pimp slapping Aaliyah Edwards.
Angel Reese has been suspended and will miss the Chicago Sky's matchup against the Indiana Fever, a brutal blow in timing. She recently made headlines for calling out her teammates, only to quickly backtrack once the backlash intensified. Now, her absence from this high-profile game adds even more fuel to the fire, raising the question of whether this is simply a rookie mistake spiraling out of control, or if Reese is already struggling with the weight of her own words, turning the entire situation into a messy storyline.
Receives her 8th tech, which will prohibit her from playing against the Indiana Fever. And 2, she's in some pretty hot water with her teammates about the Chicago Tribune.
Kathy Engelbert believed she had figured it out, sitting in her commissioner's chair and deciding that the key to putting the WNBA on the map was to force-feed fans a 5-game series between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky. Instead of balance and variety, the league doubled down on repetition, rolling out the same matchup 5 times in one season, as if endless reruns of the same show could pass for excitement.
Engelbert tried to rig the cards in the WNBA's favor by having the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky go head-to-head 5 times this season. Unfortunately for Kathy Engelbert, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese will only be going head-to-head 1 of those 5 times, and that time had...
The big selling point was Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, a rivalry marketed as the showdown that would save women's basketball, hyped everywhere like a heavyweight fight. But here's the twist. Out of 5 games, the 2 stars only faced each other once. Clark has spent more time sidelined with a groin injury than most Netflix shows spend in production, while Reese has been suspended so often it feels like the WNBA gave her a personal timeout chair. Instead of a rivalry, Engelbert delivered a flop sequel, more Titanic 2 than Blockbuster.
How did we get here? What she just said, the national championship game. We were not talking about Caitlin Clark before Angel Reese walked up to her, did this.
Lads, Angel Reese is currently about to be suspended. She has 7 technical fouls on the season. And if this was last season, in a 44-game season, she would have already been suspended. She would have already been suspended. And it is genuinely one of the funny things about this is that her fans are arguing that none of the texts are warranted. They are all warranted.
Angel Reese missed Friday night's game because she was serving a suspension after unleashing a spinning backhand on Aaliyah Edwards, as if she were auditioning for a UFC contract. Forget boxing out or proper positioning. Reese went full Mortal Kombat, and it wasn't even a fronthand slap, but a backhand, the most disrespectful move imaginable. It wasn't just contact. It was centuries of attitude packed into a single flick of the wrist.
Packed her up, bro. She low-key packed her up. It was so sly. Oh, shoot. Dang, Angel. Man, this is horrible timing if she get this 8th technical. I think they're going to give her a technical. Getting suspended for a game after what she said about her team basically being trash, needing new players, man. Yeah, that's a tech. Dang. She's going to be suspended. This is all just bad timing, bro. It's bad timing.
That's right. Angel Reese didn't use the front of her hand. Angel Reese went with the back of her hand and bow right across Aaliyah Edwards' head.
The debate instantly kicked off. Was it intentional? Was it malicious? Or was Aaliyah just flopping? In real time, it was easy to miss. But if you pause the tape, the mechanics told the story. The form, the wind-up, the torque, it was all there. That wasn't an accident. It was a geometry lesson, with Angel's arm acting like a compass drawing a flawless arc across Aaliyah's face.
When I picked my phone up and I looked at all of these damn alerts, I say, hold up, wait a minute. It is looking spooky. Angel Reese got suspended. Angel Reese threw her team under the bus. When the hell?
Credit where it's due. Aaliyah Edwards sold it perfectly. She went down clutching her head like Zeus himself had struck her. Oscar-worthy acting that made it seem like she'd been smacked into another timeline. Truth is, she probably hasn't taken a slap like that since dumping flour on the kitchen floor at age 5. But she sold it, the refs bought it, and Angel Reese picked up her 8th technical of the season, earning yet another suspension. But that slap was only one chapter in the ongoing Angel Reese drama series, because when she's not dishing out backhands, she's dishing out insults. She's been roasting her own locker room like a stand-up comic. Rachel Bannum, not a leader. Hailey Van Lith, not ready for this league. Meanwhile, the Chicago Sky sit at 9-30, a record that's less of a season and more of a cautionary tale. And yet Reese acts as if she's above it all, demanding greatness while sinking with the team, like a Burger King fry cook demanding a Michelin star just for remembering to salt the fries.
Edwards is a lot of bucket.
2 days after torching her teammates in public, Angel Reese was suddenly backtracking faster than a toddler about to get grounded. Now her words were taken out of context. Now she didn't mean it that way. Now she was apologizing in private and professing love for her teammates. Classic PR spin. You could practically hear Billie Jean playing as she moonwalked away from accountability. That's when Ariel Atkins stepped in, taking on the role of Angel's defense attorney with a full heavy is the crown speech, insisting Reese is just a 23-year-old carrying the weight of the world. It wasn't a slip, it was a full-on TED Talk. But the truth is, everyone knows Angel meant exactly what she said, apology or not. While Ariel was trying to keep the peace, half the locker room sat there thinking, yeah, but she literally called me out by name. That's not a misunderstanding. That's an ambush.
Her team feels attacked by her from comments that she made in the Chicago Tribune article. This is what Front Office Sports is reporting. According to the report, Reese said she doesn't believe her teammates Rachel Bannum or Hailey Van Lith are capable of leading a playoff team. Guard Ariel Atkins is another player on the Sky's roster with WNBA championship experience.
Here's the kicker. Executives around the league are echoing what fans have whispered all season. On a true championship team, Angel Reese wouldn't even be the star. At best, she'd be a third or fourth option. Translation, not the queen, not the rook, not even the knight. She's the bishop, useful but not the centerpiece. Yet she's out here demanding all-star reinforcements as if she's carrying the league on her back. The Sky handed her the keys, and instead of driving the franchise to relevance, she crashed the car, blamed the tires, blamed the mechanic, and then blamed the guy who built the road. Now the front office is stuck doing damage control, holding awkward team meetings where players pretend forgiveness while side-eyeing each other in the locker room. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, the other half of this so-called rivalry, is just trying to heal her groin in peace, sitting at home icing her injury and sipping tea, while Reese is out here smacking opponents, insulting teammates, and moonwalking through press conferences. This matchup was supposed to be women's basketball's Ollie versus Frazier, but instead it spiraled into a soap opera of injuries, suspensions, and locker room drama overshadowing the game itself.
Guys, Angel Reese roasted the Chicago Sky as a whole, as an organization, as a staff, a collective, and a crew, so bad to the point where it actually gave them some motivation.
Yeah, so here we are, a rivalry without the rivalry. A star who believes she's the franchise savior, but can't even save her own locker room. And a team sitting at 9-30 with more drama than wins. A commissioner thought this matchup would rescue the league, only to watch it unravel into a comedy act. The Chicago Sky don't need a rebuild, they need a therapist, or better yet, a reality show contract. And Angel Reese, for all the chaos, has proven one thing. Whether it's a slap on the court or a slap in the locker room, she'll always keep the league buzzing. That so-called team meeting the front office organized had less of a team-building vibe and more of an HR intervention before someone files a lawsuit. Just picture it. Athletes sitting in folding chairs in a circle while a franchise rep says, "Okay, let's share how it made us feel." Hailey Van Lith, fresh off a college career where she was marketed like a Disney princess with a jump shot, now has to process her own teammate telling the world she's incapable of winning anything bigger than a holiday tournament. Rachel Bannum, already a running joke on WNBA Twitter every time she checks into a game, had to hear her name dragged directly into the mud. This wasn't constructive criticism, it was targeted shade, dressed up as honesty.
Indiana Fever in the sky is that the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, she started this thing called Rivalry Week, of which the parameters pretty much put the Sky and the Indiana Fever as rivals. And obviously the two players being the rivals are Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Now, Angel Reese has actually only played one game against the Fever, and she missed 2 games due to a back injury, and this will be her 3rd game that she misses again.
And then comes the apology tour. The always convenient, always predictable, I didn't mean it like that, y'all routine. It's the basketball version of a celebrity tweeting something offensive and then dropping a Notes app apology 12 hours later with the classic, I'll do better. Angel Reese didn't even let the weekend pass before pivoting, suddenly claiming her words were misconstrued. Right, because calling out your teammates by name, position, and expiration date was clearly just one big misunderstanding, like she thought she was reading off a menu and accidentally roasted her entire roster. And at the center of this spin cycle is Ariel Atkins, the human shield of the operation. But if the crown on Angel's head feels heavy, maybe it's because it's weighed down by all those turnovers and missed defensive rotations stacking up every single week.
And Angel Reese is just back to being Angel Reese. No mistake about it. She can come out and say that she apologizes for the way that people took the comments that she made, but her comments were pretty...
The irony is so thick you could spread it on toast. Angel Reese keeps demanding better players around her, while simultaneously shrinking the pool of anyone who'd actually want to play with her. Because let's be honest, what star free agent wants to join a locker room where your own teammate might roast you in the media before you've even laced up? It's basically signing up for a reality show without the paycheck or glam squad. And the Chicago Sky front office, bless their optimism, probably thought drafting Reese was going to be a marketing slam dunk. Tickets sold, jerseys flying off shelves, social media buzz everywhere. Instead, they ended up with the WNBA's version of a Bravo reality series. Teammates subtweeting each other in pressers, vets side-eyeing rookies, and coaches aging 5 years after every post-game. And then there's Tyler Marsh, rookie head coach, wide-eyed, probably thought he'd install some fresh offensive sets and build a winning culture over time. Instead, he walked into a 9-30 mess, had his authority openly questioned by his own player, and now spends half his job running locker room therapy sessions. It's like getting hired as a chef at a struggling restaurant only to realize the kitchen's on fire and the staff is throwing plates at each other.
One thing Angel Reese knows how to do is get the internet going. For those that don't know, an article was released today by the Chicago Tribune featuring Angel Reese, and she was basically just talking about the state of the Chicago Sky, her hopes in the offseason, and basically just putting pressure on the front office in regards to building a championship team.
Maybe the funniest part in all of this is the gap between what the league wanted and what it actually got. The WNBA banked on Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese as the rivalry to save women's basketball, hyped like Ollie versus Frazier with ponytails. Instead, fans got one real matchup and a pile of drama built on suspensions, injuries, and players getting slapped around like it was amateur wrestling night at the YMCA. This wasn't a rivalry. It was a blooper reel dressed up as a marketing campaign. And Angel Reese herself keeps proving the critics right every time she speaks. Because if you're truly that good, if you're destined to be the face of the league, you don't need to beg for reinforcements while shading your teammates. You just win, or at least lose with grace. Michael Jordan didn't go on live TV in 1986 and say, "Yeah, I'd win a title if Scottie Pippen wasn't a bum." He played his way into dominance. Angel, meanwhile, seems more invested in theatrics than box scores. Sure, that backhand to Aaliyah Edwards screamed, "Don't mess with me," but Edwards sold it like she was auditioning for a soap opera. If there were an Oscar for Best Flop, she'd already be polishing the trophy.
Pressed into action as if I wasn't already. The NFL returns tonight. Praise baby Jesus. But I'm out of it for a few hours. And I get online this morning and I find out that Angel Reese had...
Of course, the league couldn't ignore it. Suspensions had to happen. But here's the hilarious twist. Angel Reese sitting out means one less Caitlin Clark versus Angel showdown. And wasn't that the entire point of this circus? The WNBA's dream rivalry evaporated faster than Chicago's playoff hopes. It's like the league bought front row tickets to its own Super Bowl, only to find out the team's canceled. The WNBA is too small, too competitive, too transparent. Every weakness gets exposed, and the Sky's flaws are about as subtle as a marching band in a library. And then there's the irony of Reese calling herself a queen with a crown while spending most of the season acting more like the jester. Today it's Rachel Bannum and Hailey Van Lith in her crosshairs. Tomorrow it'll be whichever teammate is unlucky enough to share a locker room with her. Keep this up, and Angel won't be the franchise savior she thinks she is. She'll be the player everyone tunes in to watch, but no one actually wants to play with. A highlight reel with no chemistry and a stat sheet with no rings.
This morning, and I find out that Angel Reese has, for lack of a better way of putting it, shit all over her teammates. Or as some people might call it, drown her teammates. And her teammates are none too happy, nor should they be.
And in the grand scheme of things, that's the biggest punchline of all. All the talk about heavy crowns and misunderstood words can't change the record, 9-30. That's the reality. You can spin it, excuse it, dress it up, or stage a team meeting. But at the end of the day, the Chicago Sky are a bad basketball team, and Angel Reese is stuck in the middle, half superstar, half soap opera star, wondering why her empire looks more like a comedy sketch than a dynasty. The truth is brutal. Until Reese stops swinging at opponents and starts confronting her own flaws, this story isn't going anywhere. It's only going to get louder, messier, and funnier. And if that crown really is heavy, maybe it's time to put it down and actually play.